Mara lived a quiet life in a coastal village, painting the turbulent seas and windswept cliffs that surrounded her. She found solace in solitude, a shield against the weight of past mistakes she'd rather not remember. But that morning an albatross arrived. Its wings were immense, its eyes unsettlingly human. The bird sat on the post, staring at her with an intensity that made her shiver. For days it didn't move. Villagers whispered of omens and curses, avoiding Mara's house at the edge of the cliffs. The albatross always comes for a reason, the old fisherman warned, but its reason is rarely kind. Mara tried to ignore the bird, but its presence grew unbearable. Each time she stepped outside, the albatross followed her, its heavy wings flapping ominously. One day it did more than watch. As Mara worked on a painting, the bird let out an ear-piercing screech, startling her so badly that she knocked over a jar of paint thinner, ruining her canvas. "Mara," voice cracking, "why won't you leave me alone?" But the albatross only cocked its head as if waiting for her to understand something she couldn't yet grasp. Later on, Mara discovered an old journal washed ashore, its water-stained pages barely clinging to legibility. On the first page, a faint drawing of an albatross stood out, its wings stretched wide, as if guarding the secrets within. The journal was cryptic, filled with fragmented entries about guilt, burdens, and redemption. One passage caught her eye. "The albatross comes not to haunt, but to reveal. The weight it carries is your own." Mara's breath hitched. Memories of her past began to surface, decisions she regretted, people she had hurt, and opportunities she had squandered. The albatross wasn't here by chance, it was a mirror, reflecting the burdens she refused to face. Storm clouds began to churn ominously above as Mara battled the rising wind, clutching the journal tightly against her chest. Overhead, the albatross circled, its piercing screeches slicing through the chaos. As the storm raged, Mara felt the weight of the albatross in her chest, as though its immense wings were pressing against her ribcage. Later that night, she dreamt of the bird perched on her shoulder, its claws digging into her flesh. In the dream it whispered, "Release me." She woke in a sweat, realizing she had no choice but to confront her past. The next day, Mara stood on the edge of the cliffs, the journal clutched in one hand and a small and tattered envelope in the other. The albatross perched nearby, its dark eyes fixed on her, waiting. Inside the envelope was a letter she had never sent to her estranged sister, someone she hadn't spoken to in over a decade. The fight that ended their relationship had been bitter, and Mara had convinced herself it was irreparable. Tears blurred her vision as she read the unsent words. "I'm sorry, I was wrong. Please, let's start again." The albatross screeched, the sound cutting through the wind. And it was then that Mara now understood the reason for its presence. The next morning, Mara mailed the letter, and for the first time in years, she felt lighter. As she walked back to the shore, the albatross stretched its wings. With a powerful leap, it soared into the sky, its shadow shrinking until it disappeared completely. Mara fell to her knees, sobbing, not out of sorrow but from relief. The weight she had carried for so long was gone. Months later, Mara found herself standing in the warm glow of a gallery opening. Her new paintings adorned the walls, each one vibrant and alive with light and freedom. Nothing like the somber, heavy works she had created in the past. They were a reflection of her journey, each brushstroke a testament to the weight she had released. But the true masterpiece wasn't on the walls, it stood beside her. Her sister was there, laughing at an inside joke they hadn't shared in years. The bitterness and silence that once filled the space between them had dissolved and was replaced with warm connection. Mara took a deep breath, letting the moment wash over her. For the first time in years, she felt whole. Mara, whispering to herself, "The albatross wasn't here to torment me, it was here to teach me how to fly." Her soft smile grew as she realized that the weight she once carried had transformed into wings. As the gallery doors closed behind her, Mara felt the quiet pull of the cliffs calling her. The golden hues of the setting sun painted the sky as if inviting her to take one last step in her journey. She reached the edge of the cliffs, the place where it had all begun, the albatross, the journal, and the weight she had carried for so long. But now it felt different, lighter, free. The weight we carry isn't meant to crush us, it's meant to transform us. The albatross was never a curse, but a compass guiding us toward the freedom waiting on the other side of truth.